have someone that I want you to meet. This is Tom. Tom Agachi. He's one of those Japanese digital pets. Do you guys remember these things? Yeah. They were so fickle and dramatic. First they'd be happy, then they'd be angry, then they'd poop on the floor. Well, after that glowing review, I'm here to tell you that you each have a Tom inside of you. And you will wither and die if you don't take care of your inner Tom. Okay, that sounded a little aggressive, so let's take a little journey together. Do you remember when you first got into coding? You had so much energy back then. I bet you'd spend 12-hour days working easy. You'd get obsessed with your projects. You'd spend all day Saturday in the docs of a new framework, just because. You worked hard to learn to code. You put in some applications, grinded through LeetCode for a while, and finally got a job working at a really cool company. You couldn't believe the offer letter when it came in. You would get paid to code for 8 hours a day. What used to be just a dream was now finally coming true. And then, what happened? Come on, you know. Remember when you spent a full week, including back and forth with stakeholders, updating the color of a button on the homepage? Or when you spent when you rewrote the same boilerplate code for the 20th time? What about that time when you spent days on the same race condition? It wasn't the fun kind of debugging. It was just frustrating. And right after every stand-up, when you told your team you were this close to solving it, you found another edge condition. How do you feel now? Aren't you tired? Some might say burnt out, or maybe just bored. So, how do we fix this? How do we avoid certain death? Feed your inner Tom. Well, you might be asking, feed your inner Tom, what does Tom like to eat? It's not pizza or candy or some unidentified pixel art. I don't know, I'm not a designer, sorry. The thing that gives Tom energy and revives his soul is silly software. It sounds weird, but hang in with me here. I want you to think back to a time when you had a magical coding moment, a moment where something clicked and you felt inspired and buzzing with energy. My first magical coding moment was in Mr. Rotifer's computer lab in 6th grade. In between IRC chats with classmates, we were supposed to be building HTML pages about math. I fired up Notepad and typed in a magical incantation, a rune of sorts. And then I refreshed the page, and there I saw it, my very first web page. I was in awe. This was magic. I was a magician. I wanted more. You've had a magical coding moment too. I know you have, probably more than once. Otherwise, why would you come all this way and pay all this money to sit in this room and listen to me talk? What was your first magical coding moment? Maybe you were tweaking your shop on Neopets. Maybe you were customizing your MySpace theme to absolute perfection. Or maybe you were modding a game to get infinite coins to spend on cool skins. What was your most recent magical coding moment? Can you even remember? All I want from this talk is for you to go home and feed your inner Tom. And I'm convinced that the way to feed your inner Tom is to build silly software. I saw an ad once that likened web development to telekinesis. You guys, we have a magic power. What should we do with it? The options are endless. It would be a shame to spend it all on gray and white insurance software. And look, I'm not trying to bash insurance software. I work at an email API company. Boring software can be important and good. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I am telling you that building silly software is a great way to fight burnout and remember why you fell in love with coding in the first place. So, rapid fire, let's take a silly software break. Tom needs it. Now, this wouldn't be a talk about silly software if I didn't mention the king, Nolan. He built a website called 1millioncheckboxes.com, which is 1 million checkboxes. That's it. The check state syncs in real time, so people had a lot of fun drawing pictures with the checkboxes and working together to check each individual box, all million of them. Viral, and there's even a Wikipedia page about it. Now, silly software can be big, like 1 million checkboxes, and it can also be small. This is a cloud. Why? Wrong question. Why not? I mean, look at this. You can move it around, you can change the size, you can even adjust the weather. I mean, come on, look at that lightning. In this one, someone hooked up his rowing machine to the video game Red Dead Redemption. Now, traversing the river is an actual workout. Silly software can be kind of useful, too. Andrew got a receipt printer and made it print out his GitHub issues as they come in. Now he has physical tickets to represent the work that he needs to do. And finally, Anna made a website that allows you to send a postcard to her actual address without ever visiting the post office. It uses the same APIs that companies use to send you those spam mailings that we all throw away. I think this is super cute, so if you send her a note, tell her I sent you. Okay, back to the talk. Something that most Toms have in common is that they love to learn. Silly software can help with this too. This is my family. I guess I wasn't having the best time that day. Anyways, right next to me is my dad. My dad is amazing. He was a Top Gun pilot in the US Navy. That's him, the one that's upside down. He's kind and organized and structured. Every time he gets in the car, he runs through a mental pre-flight checklist, always in the same order. Adjust seat, adjust mirrors, seat, verify passenger status, ignition. Look, I love my dad to death, but when he taught me to drive stick, it was a little rough. I was stalling out over and over, I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't following the pre-flight checklist. It wasn't working. My older brother had to take over. Now, unlike my dad, my brother plays video games. He used to absolutely crush me at Mario Kart. He knew how to make it a game. When I stopped trying to learn and started learning through play, things clicked. Soon, I found myself flying down the freeway in my brother's old Toyota. When I bought my first car, I bought a manual on purpose. It's like this with software too. Pay attention to your curiosities. Let yourself follow little rabbit trails, even if they don't lead anywhere useful. Build little apps just for the heck of it, and then throw them away. The important part isn't growing to 100 million ARR. It sounds cheesy, but it's true. The important part is the things we learn along the way. There are two different ways that I've found to learn through silly software. You can start with an idea, or you can start with a tool. When you start with an idea, you let your curiosity drive. Your idea is the end goal, and you just have to figure out how to get there. Let me tell you about an example. I was mindlessly scrolling Instagram one day, as one does when you're over 25, when I came across this video.
If vibes.cringe, throw new, nope, yeet, new error. Big yikes. While vibes.dank, fam.cs. Slay.
Now, this video made me laugh, and I also thought to myself, I bet someone could totally make that happen. Wait, I bet I could make that happen. So I started to look into what it would take. I've heard of a coding language before that's comprised entirely of moos. Yeah, like cows mooing. So my first instinct was to build a small coding language and compiler. Now, after about 2 minutes of Googling, that just seemed too hard. I was committed to the bit, but I wasn't that committed. Then I remembered about polymorphs. There's a tool called Babel that transforms JavaScript code into other JavaScript code. Surely you could extend that in some way, right? I let myself follow this rabbit trail and built this. This is a Babel plugin called Glow Up Vibes. It lets you code in internet slang and transpiles it into valid JavaScript. Instead of throwing an error, you can yeet an L. Cap is false. Console.error is lowkey.cringe. Thank you. This project got 3 million views on Instagram, 992 GitHub stars, and 99 pull requests. If I had stopped myself from going down this rabbit trail the minute I started losing shareholder value, I wouldn't know anything about Babel plugins. But now I do. And it was all because I let myself have fun. I fed my inner Tom, and now Tom knows how to publish an NPM package. The second way to learn through silly software is by starting with a tool that you'd like to learn. Recently, I entered a competition that reinvigorated my career and introduced me to lifelong friends because I employed this method. Last summer, I saw that Code TV and Mux were running one of those competitions to see who could build the worst video player possible. It was like those bad UI competitions where you build something cursed on purpose. Now, this is right up my alley. I can build bad software. In my last performance review, my boss said that I do that every single day. So I decided to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, enter a fun competition, and learn something about WebSockets. I had heard about WebSockets, but I never needed to use them in my day job. I knew they were a way to communicate in multiple directions in real time. So I came up with an idea for a very bad video player based on the purpose and capabilities of WebSockets. My bad video player was inspired by those group projects that we all hated in school. One person's input can negatively impact everyone's experience. If you pause, we all pause. If you set your video to max volume in a public space, we're all listening at max volume, right there with you. The playback rate is based on the average longitude of all connected users. And to set the volume, you need to make a noise inversely proportional to the volume that you want. So to get a quiet video for everyone, you must scream. Throughout this project, I learned about WebSockets and how to use them, and it didn't feel like pulling teeth. It was fun. And as a bonus, I even won the competition. I got to fly to New York, meet up with the Mux team, and go to my very first tech conference. That's where I met Michelle and Rebecca, who organized this conference. And that trip is quite literally the reason why I'm on this stage today. It's all because I fed my inner Tom. So, building silly software can be an incredibly powerful way to learn new skills and technologies, and you never know where it can take you. Who knows, maybe your stupid app will have you on this stage next year. Yeah, thank you. So please, I'm begging you, feed your Tom. My favorite living author, Robin Sloan, knows how to code. He wrote an article called "An App Can Be a Home-Cooked Meal." In it, he describes a photo messaging app that he built for his family. For years, his family has been using this home-cooked app to communicate. It suits them perfectly, and it comes without the pressure to scale, develop a corporate voice, or optimize for revenue. He calls it rewarding in almost exactly the same way that cooking for someone you love is rewarding. This app that he wrote is a way to connect with and serve his family. He writes, "When you liberate programming from the requirement to be professional and scalable, it becomes a different activity altogether, just as cooking at home is really nothing like cooking in a commercial kitchen." Did you hear that? When you liberate programming from the requirement to be professional and scalable, that's what Silly Software does. Now, this article was originally written in February of 2020. Things have changed just a little bit since then. So let me expand on Robin's definition. An app can be a home-cooked meal, and it can also be a Polaroid picture. Instant, disposable, and a cute gift for a friend. With the proliferation of AI tools, making this kind of personal software is only becoming easier. In a couple of prompts, you can build a silly little single-use app for a friend or family member. They can use it for a week and never touch it again, and that's okay. Because we're feeding our inner Toms and not weighing ourselves down with revenue and professionalism and metrics, we can just play. And our play can help connect us with others that we care about. So let me show you a couple more examples. This is an app called Girlfriend Guide. It's a young bachelor's compendium of relationship tips that he sourced from female friends. It contains some solid advice, like when she vents, don't fix, listen first. Sometimes she needs a witness, not a mechanic. This one is DigiBouquet, an app that lets you arrange a digital bouquet. You can choose each flower, select from a variety of greenery, and then arrange your flowers how you want them. Then type in a sweet note and copy the link to send it off to a loved one. In this tweet, Eunice writes, "Vibe coding is so cool because what do you mean I can whip up a cute letter delivery website in less than an hour and make my friend's entire day?" And this creator built a site where users can make custom advent calendars for their friends to open each day. Apps like these are a great way to show people you love that you care about them. And nowadays, you can build them with just a few prompts. Your friends and family members will feel so special knowing that you built an app just for them. So, how does your Tom feel now? Let's make sure you have more magical coding moments this year than ever before. So, build silly software to fight burnout, build silly software to learn a new skill, build silly software to connect with others, and never forget to feed your inner Tom. To help with this, I recently launched this website called sillysoftware.club. It's a collection of whimsical and fun software that I've found online. You can sign up for the newsletter and get silly software delivered to your inbox every month. I want to add your apps to my website because I want to show off how you're feeding your inner Toms. I also brought a bunch of Tom stickers and temporary tattoos. So come see me at the Resend booth to claim yours. Thanks for listening to my first talk ever. You guys are amazing. So one last thing.
Give her more round of applause. First talk ever. That was incredible. Great job.
One last thing for them. I just forgot to tell you.
What?
I do have one last thing.
Oh, continue.
Should we?
No, you can say.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I know that a lot of times you leave a conference feeling inspired, but it's like a heavy kind of inspiration. That's not what I want from this talk. I want you to feel inspired so that you're free to play. They say there's a moment in your life when you go outside to play for the last time as a kid. You don't know it then, but it is the last time. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going outside again today, and tomorrow, and the next day. And my question for you guys is, will you join me?